welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is part 2 because part 1 was cut off. Ustream's being a bit pedantic. So I'm still working the Colin Thompson colouring book. I've been scratching a bit of colour with my Neos, and this is going to allow me to take the book with the colour and a water brush, and because we've got some small spaces, I've got a little tiny Winsor & Newton watercolour brush. It's a Didi one that comes in this set. It's in lots of different ones as well, but it's in this little watercolour set. But I could never get this silly thing out of here, so I use it. I use it for small spaces and for setting pastels in tiny spaces as well. So it's enabled me to make a quick coffee. So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live people, hopefully. Although Ustream's being an absolute pest today, bless it. So it's recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. And as I say, this is part 2. So part 1, I started scratching just a little bit of colour. Decided on a red plain. Now I did do the sleeve, and I have followed the leaf back, the tree. So I've got to be a bit careful now because I don't really want to smudge that. It won't smudge too much, but it would if I left my hand on it a long time. So I've got that shoot thing to do there, and sometimes, especially with Colin Thompson and Kirby Roseanne, they're kind of made up worlds, so you have to guess at a lot of things. So I'm going to use this number 59, which is just brown, and I'm using this for all the wood, so there's got a little bit of continuity. So there's quite a lot of wood on here, so although that's wood and I think that's metal, so I'm going to leave that one out. All the others I pop away, but that one I'm going to leave out. So I've got a couple of books here, so I'm just going to scratch a bit of colour, and we can do kind of those the same. And then maybe this one a slightly different colour, and then the end one, and keeping them all kind of fawn browns. I'll just put a scratch of colour at the top, that one. So they're kind of really kind of boring colours. Then we're going to go back to the brick red for these, although they look different, so I think we'll have the little tiny ones as bricks. And I normally find certain colours in certain, I don't think they're bricks, I'm going to do those stone. So I think I need a kind of stony colour, so I'm going to go for light ochre 32. I think that's what these would be. And I'll use that colour with the brush on the other side, which you'll see next. Tiniest bit of colour. If I've got a bit left on that, I'm going to do those, I think, so I'll leave that. Again, that looks like brown wood, so I'm just going to give that a touch. And you get a bit carried away because you feel like you're crayoning in, and you can't be too much because you end up with far too much colour. That looks like roasted things. think they are roasted. And this is the background I've chosen, so I'm going to put it everywhere. So you could leave the candles white if you wanted. I might do an orange flame. There's a bit of aerosol coming out. We've got a little dog. And again, difficult to get in that corner. Oh, I'm leaving that one out because it's the colour. Now I need a fairly bright yellow because I want to use, it's going to be a bit warm. Now I do have a gold in that other one, but I don't think that one's gold, is it? I think I'm going to use golden yellow, and that's in the window. And I do want that quite strong, but believe me, it will be. And then there was something else I wanted to light. I'd seen another window somewhere, but it's gone, so. Oh, I know what I wanted. Really bright flames on the candles. And again, I'm going to leave that one out because there'll be other windows. And so we'll follow this down to this pram here. So we've kind of got a grey mouse. And we have a mouse green, so I think we have to do the mouse green, which is number 6. And we have a pram, so we can do that kind of light grey. And I think we had blue. Number 161 light blue. I think we'll have a light blue pram. Canopy. And probably number 80 carmine. I'm going to have a bit of a red car. Oh, thanks guys. Are we okay now? Are we back in business? Or do we look a bit blurred? I think we look a bit blurred actually. I'm just looking for sooty. Don't know what I did with sooty. We have a live stream gremlin. Oops, sorry about that. We have a live stream gremlin at the moment. And things have just disappeared. To put that down there, I think. I'll use this. This has got squares on it. Do we think might want a little bit? Oh, hi Shalene, welcome to Benny's Designs. Just make that a little bit better. Because we've lost our Sutty. I don't know what's happened to Sutty, but he's run away. So, oops, we've got a red car. And we've got that yellow background, which again I didn't put far. Oh, wrong one. Didn't put far away. I should be able to blend that, so it'll be fine. Oh, it's the baby crying. Sure what it's throwing out. It's normally a dummy, but I don't know what it's throwing out. I don't know what it's throwing out of the pram, but it's throwing something out the pram. Oh, welcome Shalene, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Thank you for stopping by. It's a bit of a madhouse today because even though the pets are behaving themselves, Ustream isn't. The pets have been as good as gold. There's no humans about, apart from me, and that's debatable. Or sane humans. So we're all going to be quiet, and the dogs are quiet. Shh. Shouldn't have said that, should I? Alfie's asleep under my feet. So all the pets, the zoo is asleep. I had a wonderful day yesterday playing with kittens again at the RSPCA. I pick my daughter's friend up and my daughter, and we go and we play with kittens and cats for a few hours. And I normally sit with the older ones, the ones that are a bit grumpy, and they play with the kittens. But yesterday I was playing with the kittens, and I sit and draw and play with the kittens. So it's a very, very, very nice thing to do. On a purely selfish level, it's very calming playing with kittens. And then watch them collapse one by one with sheer exhaustion. Oops, postman's here, so I should have not spoken too soon, but hey ho, if I keep talking he won't hear the postman unless he knocks on my door. So a thoroughly nice time was had by all, so a very quick break because he's going to start to he's going to start now to bark, so we've got to be quick. So very quickly, oopsie, he's going now, he's gone, and the bark's gone. So this is Betsy, this is how she is now. She's very contented having her ears played with, so she's a lot better cat than she was a few weeks ago. And we left mummy and daughter. Whoopsie. Oops, didn't want to do that. Hiding in a little hidey hole. You can just see she looks very much like our Toffee. And then there's a kitten playing on here, one just waking up, and then the mummy was there. Oops, mummy's asleep. And the little boys were so tired they just collapsed and went to sleep. And they're brothers, and he was holding on to his little brother. He was holding his paw. So they were fast asleep. and one of them wanted to go to sleep in a little wooden bowl. And they were playing with so pretty kittens, so pretty. I think I might have to paint this one. Really pretty little girl, but a terror. She was the terror. She was the terror. Oopsie. Oh, thank you, Melody. Yes, I was playing with kittens, and this one was last week, and she was on her own, being a really quiet cat, and then she was joined by 4 little monsters. So we had a great day, and I found a label. With some kind of like tinsel on that somebody bought me for my birthday. It was in my handbag, and they just thought they had all these really expensive toys, and they just wanted to play with this little tinsel. That's all they wanted to play with. They thought that was wonderful. So we had a whale of a time playing. We had a wonderful time playing with the kittens. We did have a Miss Grumpy, and then they were so tired they just kind of collapsed. Went to sleep. Oh, hi Cheshire Cat. Anybody else popping in? Welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm just having a kitten moment. And this was the mum. And this is now Betsy Doodles. And she likes to sleep with her feet out now, and she's all white underneath. So this is the little cat that's staying with us at the moment. I say little cat, she's grown up. And what else did we have last week? And this little one's gone now, she's gone. So it was a good day yesterday. It was a real nice day. Playing with kittens. And at the end she snuggled with her baby. One of the babies is hers. So she went in the little house, snuggled with her baby. So that was quite nice. So we did have a wonderful day. So we do that every Wednesday. We go play with kittens. And I'm trying to talk because I don't want him to hear the postman. Because if he hears the postman, there'll be trouble. So these are my flowers my hubby bought me. My daughters bought me a big box together and a half bottle of wine. And hubby bought me some more. And my youngest bought me some heather. So it's some beautiful flowers, which are on my desk, and I need to paint them. I thought some really nice bright colours. My camera's going a bit on my phone. And hubby bought me some flowers as well. So we had a good time. And then we passed the Abbey yesterday, and I can't help flicking. I can't help tapping the camera when we pass the Abbey. It's quite a beautiful place. And they're not very good pictures, but they're not so bad considering we were in the car. I think I probably got one nice one. But it's quite an amazing building, is the Abbey. I just keep flicking, and sometimes I get good ones and sometimes I don't. I think there's a person in one of them. We're at the traffic lights there. So as you approach it, it's quite a beautiful building. It's quite an amazing building, is Selby Abbey. And the Washingtons we're on the American Trail, because George Washington's family originated from Selby, and we have a plaque, a window, and it's the Washington window, and there's stars and stripes on it, and there's a story that Washington's seamstress saw his crest, which was stars and stripes, and that's how she came up with the American flag. But that's just a story. We're not sure if it's true, but it sounds plausible. And they were Washingtons when they were here, so it's quite a fascinating little abbey, is Selby. Right, back to the postman's gone. Alfie didn't grumble. It's normally really peaceful, so everybody's gone back to work, everybody's gone back to college and university, so I'm all on my own, surrounded by sleeping animals. So Betsy Doodles is upstairs on my daughter's bed, because she's staying in that bedroom at the moment. Alfie has met her briefly by accident, and they were both shocked. But Toffee walked past him a minute ago and he never bothered, so he might be getting a bit better. Toffee, the tortoiseshell, is in the other room, in the kitchen, on the chair, on a cushion. Alfie's tucked up fast asleep, being a good boy under my feet, under my desk. I think Dexter's taken all his bedding out of his bed in the kitchen and thrown it all over the kitchen floor and made a nest. And then the lurcher, Gigi, she's on her sofa, stretched out 7 foot. So it's quiet. It's quiet. And it should stay like that till about 4 o'clock, so we should be okay. So I've scratched this little bit of colour, not too much, and if I show you the edge of that's a bathroom, so we want black and white. That does look like a cat sat on a bed, so that could be Betsy Doodles. We want a rug. I think we might have a mint coloured rug, I think, possibly. So this is the crayon, and this is the size of drawings that we're actually colouring in. I'm just going to put a little bit of, just a touch of colour. That looks like a sock and slippers. It must be my house, because nobody puts anything away. We've got a person sleeping, so we could have a bit of and it would be one dot for the jumper, and blue jeans. Now there is a colour called blue jeans. I think this is it. Yeah, blue jeans, and it's number 155. So of course we have to do the jeans with blue, and we need some bedding, so I think we'll just have a bit of a very pale colour for that. I do like to put the crayons away, because I do tend to kind of mess them up if they're out. I have left 4 colours out. The brown for the wood, the red for the brick, the yellow for windows, and the orangish yellow, which is number 31, and I'm using that as the background because I think it looks a bit canvassy, that colour. So I've left those colours out, but all the others I'm trying to put away. So we need some floor tiling down there, so I think we could have probably a bit of midnight blue, indigo blue 139, and if you just put a dot, you find the water will change that colour, so it'll be very strong in the corners and then it'll go to a gorgeous colour. And that happened by chance when I did this particular method in, I think it was, I didn't think it was it Magimorphia, but we did it in this book. Again, this is why I need to write all the things I do in all the books. I could go straight to it then, instead of flicking through all the books to find the page that I want, because it's never in the particular book I find. No, it's not in that one either. I did have a look through this one earlier to see if I could find it. Oh yes, because there was the snow scene. It's the page next to the snow scene, which I think that one is in Mythomorphia. Yes, this was the one. I'll zoom out a bit and show this one. Oh wow! And the place is still there. Oopsie, I've gone the wrong way. There we go. So this is the technique I was doing in that. Oh, hi Claire. Anybody else popping in? So this page we did, I think, last week, and this was with the Neos just scratching a bit of colour. And when I was doing this particular one, I didn't want to wash the brush out, but there was so much colour that I managed to colour all these trees in. And that again shows that I would have got rid of that colour thinking I didn't need it, and yet that's how much colour was there. So it just shows when you do wash your brush out how much colour you're wasting, and as a tight Yorkshire lass I don't like to do that. So this particular one I scratched lots and lots of colour in it, put a piece of paper between, and then the following day coloured it in. As I say, I made so much, and I think somewhere here there was a bit of green as well, which I did the little girl's, oh sorry, big girl's dress. And I will be using this as a palette, because if you can see there's some really dark bits, and I'm going to touch those with the brush, and that will then allow me to paint the 5 trees that I didn't finish. So there's 2 trees here, and I think there's another one somewhere else. There's about 5 that need doing, and they will all be done from just pinching a little bit of activated colour from here. And so I did put, I thought I'd put a little bit of colour on, and you can see they're still quite vivid. So I like this technique, and I think I used it on another page as well, but might have been the Hannah Carlson one. I think that was the first one. Yes, it was one of the Hannah Carlsons. It was in, oopsie, Avalanche. It was in this one, and this was the first one. So I scratched a little bit of colour, and then, as I say, I put some piece of paper between, sorry, Avalanche, so that if I hadn't have done that, purple was so strong it might have gone on her face. So a bit of paper, and then I shut the book, and then the following day I came to colour it in, and I just had a water brush. So I really like this idea. It means that you can save your precious neos at home, because if you're going to the beach you really wouldn't want to take these. So you could scratch your colour, and again you could sit at the beach or wherever and colour in, and there's not a lot of crayons to get out. You could do this great at hospitals. If you have to be there, then you can be there and do something without looking kind of getting all your art supplies out and looking kind of a little bit odd and getting in the way. So anybody else popping in? Anybody else popping in? So where were we? We were playing about in here. So I've put quite a lot of dark there. So when I activate that, when it's done its thing, I'll still have some on the end of the brush. I'll probably just go over this section here, leave these white and just go over this section here. Not sure about colouring in the guy on the toilet, but hey ho, you can have some trousers on, bless him. So we've done this section, and it's probably taken about an hour or so. Now normally I just pick a colour up and bob it about a bit and put it back, but because it's a show, I'm taking my time reading all the names out and numbers if I remember, and it's a bit of a slower process. So you would probably look at an orange and go, yes, I want that colour, and just start colouring with it, put it back. But the idea is you just want the tiniest amount, because as with the Mythomorphia one, there was a lot of colour that I could have potentially wasted, and as a tight Yorkshire lass, I don't really like to do that. So when you hear me flicking the pages, this is what I'm doing. I'm flicking round. Now I do have a bottle green somewhere, but I don't actually know where that one is. So we've got a greenish blue, and the only one that's ever broken is this one, and this one is called dark green. And I'm going to do the bottle, I think, here. And again, you really, if you want to highlight, you don't want a lot of colour. And I did break this crayon before I put it in here. These will not break in here, and you can flip them and do what you want. Now there is 2 in each one, and the same with pencils. I've got all my Derwent pencils and my Inktense pencils in another one, and then I have all my pastel pencils in another. So I have 3 art bags, but they are so easy to flip. If I'm obviously going in another room, I put them in the art bag, but when I'm on the desk it's easier to flip. So that's what you can see me do. So we got down to here. I think we've covered most things in. Now if it's lettering, I've left that kind of thing. Now we did have some kind of creature somewhere. I forgot what it is now. There's a wooden box there, so I'll zoom in and then we'll get cracking. Oh, hi Miss Jamie. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? Apologies about the clicking. Right, so we're going to go here next. So we've got TNT, and I think that could be English Red 63. Now English Red is a dark red, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit there. And we've got an aerosol can, so I'm not quite sure what we want to do with the aerosol can. We've got a little dog. I think he could possibly be grey. There's a lot of grey going on in here, so we'll put a little bit of grey there. And it is scribble because I'm going to manipulate it, and of course they're really nice colours. So we've got a weight hanging down there, which obviously is not a good idea if you're sitting underneath it, but I've got an aerosol can. And I think I'll just scratch a bit of colour on there. I don't know what that is. I think it's a box. Again, just a bit of colour. I thought that was a toaster, but I think it's a radio. I think it's a radio. And again, I think it's a vintagey style, so I'm going for that yellow ochre kind of olive green colour. So if you put it at the bottom, you can manipulate it round. And as I say, if I ever get my colour book published, mine will be on a spiral back, so you will never have that silly little crease in there, because it's such a pest. And I can get a paintbrush in there, but you still got to hurt your fingers, and it still ruins the book. So I'm hopefully going to get I'm just looking what that is. As I'm hopefully going to get a spiral one, so it will be easier. And on a thicker paper as well, so you can do this watercolour effect and not be worried. Not quite sure what that is. It looks kind of metalish, so I'm sticking with the greys. This is the mouse grey again. I've used quite a lot of that. And if you pick the colour up here with your brush, by the time you get here you still have some. Now I've put extra there, but I probably, while I'm doing this, I'll end up colouring this one in, and I'll end up colouring something else in, because there will be colour there. And again, this one, even though now we've got our red bricks again here, so I left that one out, so that's Indian red, number 75. So I'm going to slide this across here, and then again a dot. Now if you haven't got a point, which I have, just a bit of a mark, so every mark's different, some are bigger than others, and I will be colouring in each individual brick, but I will be using that little tiny Winsor & Newton brush that they use it in several different Winsor & Newton watercolour sets. There's this one, there's a little flat one, but I can never get this one out of here, so I have one in my pastel pencils and I have one in my watercolours, because for really diddy little spaces they're really, really good. And the wetness from a baby wipe, or you can even pinch the wetness from the water brush, that's just how little you use. So that will be in part 3, because Ustream was playing up a bit today. So I've got a bit of a dot in everything, just down the bottom there, maybe a bit more. So we've got all that finished. I'm going to leave the white, I think it's electricity, so it'll be a white, so I'm going to leave that white, and I'm going to leave the lettering white. Everything else is going to have a coating, so that should kind of make that jump out a bit. So I'm going to move the crayons, because I'm moving the whoopsie. So we've done this section here. Maybe the stairs. I could possibly put a little bit of, if the kind of vintage or Victorian, they have a bit of dull colour. And then of course we found some more bricks, so again a dot in each one. And as I'm doing these, I'll be picking up colour, so there'll be enough to finish that little one in there. So we've got some wooden stairs here, and if you actually study these, they're quite gruesome if you actually look. So if you've got any problems, if you've got any questions, pop them in caps. This is just part 1 and 2 of scratching colour. Part 3 will be where we're manipulating it with a damp brush, and I'm going to be using the number 1 Derwent. So you can just take the book and the water brush, and that's fine. I'm going to go down to this bottom bit here next. Oopsie. This is where we've got the train, but it's even got a bit of a band going on, and he's singeing, so he would have blue braces on, I think, and possibly a pale fawn brown trousers, so we need a fawn colour. I think these might be the right colour, khaki-ish colour, and if I do that in the middle I can manipulate that either side, and we need a contrasting colour for and if you're not sure where this is going to land, practice on he's got a shirt on as well. Just practice on, I'm going to give him a red shirt, Bordeaux number 85. Just practice on a piece of photocopy paper, and then when you know that that's where the dot's going to hit, then you can do it on the real thing. Symbols want to be kind of a silver or a pale colour. I do have a silver. I think that one's going to be this colour, kind of an off-white skin colour, because it's made of, they used to be made of skin. We've got a bit of a brass thing going on there. And my silver colours. I think I have a silver grey. Oh, I could actually use silver. If I had my other crayons, I'd use silver, but I just put a bit of colour in there. It's just to get rid of this starkness. I'm using the Neos, the normal ones, although some are quite old. I think that little tiny one here, that's an original one when they were this size. That's the original size of the Neos, and I think they were just watercoloured. And I think this one's old because it doesn't have a name on. And this is an older one because it doesn't have a name on. They used to come in tins with just a few. So we've got lots of different colours, but they're the new colours. I think all these colours are available. I didn't think it was fair to use my vintage ones. That's where the silver and the gold is, but I think the silver and gold were in this set, but I think they've taken them out. So again, I've got some more red brick, so I'm going to bring that red brick down. I move them to the other side because the fan, the laptop's getting hot. So start here. And I am going to put a little bit of paper I'm actually going to use a tissue over there because I want to leave my hand on it, and again just a touch, and if it is too big, use the sharp corner on the top. And that might do for the minute. So we have kind of a volcano going on in there, and I did have a nice colour. So just put a touch of that on there. that's the colour that I did the raw sienna. I think I'm going to do the corks. And then we've got some bagpipes. There's all sorts of things going on in these. I think this is going to be this colour. And then that probably will smudge up to there. And he's a ballerina, so I'm going to give him some pink ballet shoes. Seeing as he's a ballerina, we're going to give him raspberry red, number 270, and that is going to be the tiniest dot. And I think he's going to have a pink ballet suit on as well. I think if he's going to stand there in ballet pumps, I think he deserves his pink moment. And this is my, I don't know if it's salmon pink or flesh. I think this one's flesh. I think I did the other colour up there. Salmon pink is quite good. This is the only bit left of my flesh, and this is an original, so I think it's time I bought a flesh colour. And I use this one for all the hands and skin that you can see, and all the faces as well. And it just looks like a bit of a scribble to start with, but it will get there eventually. And this person could just have a bit of a scratch. I'm going to leave this one out as well. So the bagpipes are normally quite bright colours, so I'm just going to put a dot of red every third square. And then we'll have a dot of blue. And then I think possibly a dot of green. And that should brighten that little section up a bit. I think that is... I think it's a label, so when that fawn's there, I'm going to just go over that label. I think the background is yellow, orangey-ish yellow, which is number 31. So again, scribble a bit of colour in there. And you can manipulate that later. But there is a lot of colour on there. So we don't have to worry about the colour. And that's all you need for that. I think when I do this grey, I might just swirl through here. We seem to have got 3 alarm bells, so I think... And it has to be a red wine glass, so we want red for that one. I'm going to leave that out. And I think possibly this red might be good. And by the time you've picked up that yellow, you'll have enough to do all those squares because there's a lot of colour on there. We'll have a blue. This is going to be a bit difficult, this, but just try and get a little bit of colour. And you'll see in part 4 just how much colour there is there, even the tiniest speck. There will be enough for that. So I've got the little jackets. I think they could all have green jackets possibly. Oh, French ultramarine. I think we've got an ultramarine somewhere. Let's have a look at that one. Yep, number 149 ultramarine. I think they're all going to have ultramarine jackets. And I can go over that because it's dead easy. And there's something in there. He's got purple. I can put that one away. And then I like the dark blue. So we've got 139 indigo blue, and that's for the trousers. So they've all got a bit of uniform on. And that looks like a little monkey, but if you use this, it goes the palest purple. It's a deep purple, but it's nice. And then we've got our grey bells, and there's one up here as well, so I might as well do that one as well. And then we've got our red brick. Following round the red brick, which is just there. And I'm doing that one Indian red, which is 075. So I'm just putting a dot. If I go all the way across, I've got to remember to put something on there so I don't smudge the colour. And the background, oops. And moving across, there is a bit of a snail, I think, there, listening to music. I think we might just have him brown. That little monkey can have a bit of brown. What else can we have brown? I think that's it for that. So we've got a train. I've got a little train next. Oh, hi Kate, welcome to Benny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? I've said hi to everybody. Move the kneecaps, that'd be a good idea. So that looks like it's a balloon, so we haven't got a lot of red. Ow. So we could have carmine number 80. So we can have a bit of a balloon going on. Now there should be some more, but I can't see any. Oh, there's a balloon. I think that could be a blue balloon. This is just called blue, number 260. And again, just a scratch of colour is going to go a long way. So we're going to have a little red engine. Yeah, and I've just realised I've got a Bordeaux colour there, which is the colour of wine. So again, scratch just a little bit and the funnels would be black, I think. Pretty sure we'd have black funnels. And I don't know if I've got black on here. Nope, I don't have black. And I do have a white, but I don't have black, so I'm going to use this indigo. And I can manipulate that. I really do not want, this is extremely strong. Very strong, this. And I think we could have green. I think all the metal parts, I'm going to do this. And there will be enough colour to really colour everything in, because this indigo is very strong. And green carriages, I think. So let's flip to my greens, and again the tiniest bit of colour. I've just realised they were blood and custard, weren't they? But never mind. And then this one can be green as well. And this colour will then go right round. There will be enough. And that's rather naughty. I shall just cover that up and then move on. So, more bricks, but I think those are going to be those bigger colours. So, let's have a look what I did. Can't remember what colour I used. Let me have a look. What colour did I use? I think I must have used this colour, did I? No, that was the background. So the background can have a bit of this colour. And this is this colour as well. I think I used a pale colour. I use this one for the bricks. So manipulate that round. That was very easy. I'm going to leave that one out because I think there's some more big bricks somewhere, is there? Perhaps not. No. Oh, good, good, because you end up with lots of crayons out and it gets on my nerves sometimes. There's a stick of dynamite, which is normally red. I think dynamite's normally red, isn't it? And then we have our bricks. And I think these are red bricks. So I'm not going to do each individual brick here. I think I'm just going to do some darks, I think, and surround that little dog. And there will be enough to move back up and finish this. I'll move down, and then up here I've got some reds as well. So again, this is brick, what I would call brick red. So, and that one. And remember, a lot of the hard work's done because you've got your grayscale. I just want to put that lighter. Oh, I've coloured that one in now. So I'll have to colour that one in. I didn't see that one up there, but never mind. And then it can go paler. So because a lot of work's done for you, you don't have to worry too much about it. So you've got those silly corners, and then we have a martini glass, and we have, oh, it looks like a cherry. It's not an olive, it's a cherry. Okay, just want a dot. And there's another thing that's like a label, but there's no colour on it, so probably a green door. I think doing the Kirby Roseannes are a little bit easier because it's all make-believe, and so you don't have to think about proper colours. Whereas this has got, even though it's made up, it's got reality things in it, so it's a bit more difficult to kind of manoeuvre colour-wise. Again, we've got that background colour here, and again you've got to be a bit careful because and then we've got a little monster there, and there's a tub which could be an olive colour. It's a bit fiddly as this one, I have to say, but you know, it'd still be good to do. You just have, it'd be probably easier to do in pencil, any pencils, because they are thinner and finer, and you can get to some soft small areas, except for if you sharpen your Neos. But sharpening your Neos is such a waste of pure colour. So I'll go back to some silver colours again. There's a sewing machine. Didn't want a bright coloured sewing machine. I think that's a balloon, but I'm not sure. But this is called beige, number 403. So I'm going to use this because I kind of like this. See. So if anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps. And then I take notice. There's a speaker there. There's some books, a pile of books. And we've got our background canvas again, which is what I'm calling this one. Let me have a look. So we've got some books. That's like a file colour. So again, a little bit of colour goes a long way. That's an envelope. That's like a tin. And this one is the one I was using for the wood. I think it's just brown, number 59. Got a kettle. So that was, oh, I tell a lie, I found black. I'm not going to use it, but I found it, so I did put black in there. I think that looks like wood, and that looks like wood, and again, tiny space. It's not going to be the easiest thing to get to, but a little bit of scratch colour will go a long way. This wants to be darkish brown. And that can be brown, and then this is the brown for the wood. So you just go along and scratch a bit of colour in. Oopsie. the steps. We've missed the steps. So again, that's the same brown. So now I have to be careful because it will smudge, and I'm going to use the edge piece to go down there. So I could have an orange kind of thing going on. Orange trainers. That looks like a little fox coming up there, so we need a foxy red colour. English red for our little fox, or dog, or whatever it is. And we have a little brown bird there. And then we need a bright green tennis ball. Bordeaux. Yep, Bordeaux red. And just put a little bit of blue on those curtains. Oh, that's like my little plant pot. Red round the train brick. The reason I can't show the brick is because the train rather is because I've just found one of the characters doing something out of the train window that you probably will get arrested for. So I don't want to be thrown off Ustream, so that can't go on there. Right. Oh, we've got a tall glass of something with a yellow, but it's a lemon yellow. It's not a yellow. It's a lemon yellow slice. So that looks like ice, but I think we'll just make it a bit of a kind of a peachy colour. Oops, some more background. Now this page I would have probably taken a few hours over, but this way is really quick. Again, we've got a couple more books and there's no reason why you can't mix colours together. This is the time to do it. Put two colours together. And I've left that crayon out, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just get that. I'm going to leave that white sphere white, but it's got I must have put my hand on the red, so again you've got to be careful. This can be greys. Put some little yellow chicks. Got some little yellow chicks there. I think we'll do those little yellow chicks. And I think there's some more chickens up there, but they kind of go a bit red to chickens, so we'll... What's this one? Venetian red. Yeah, that's a bit chicken colour. And then by the time you've kind of... And there's Mr. Show Off himself. And if you're worried about that, by the time you've coloured Mr. Cockerel in, that red will be on, or orange red. Is it a cadmium red? It's vermilion. So by the time you've got that red, you'll have enough to do it. But again, I would do that with that little tiny brush. I would do it with that little tiny brush, because it's a tiny space. And I'll show you how to do that in part 4, but it's fairly easy. So you want some more brick reds about. So this is the part you really have to think of your colours, because obviously when you start to manipulate this colour into a watercolour, you do not have the colours with you. But there's nothing to say you can't do that when you come back from wherever. You can add colours to it because it's just a watercolour. So you can add colours to it and do your finishing touches. But the majority of it you can do out and about. And you will find you've got extra bits for this as well. So we'll go back to our greys. Oops, and I think we'll have dark grey number 7. And the tiniest bit, I'm probably putting too much actually. Because it will kind of spread about a bit, and then we've kind of got this, and once you've moved that, I'm pretty sure you're going to have enough, but I'll just put a line there. And then we want a silver light grey, number 4, steel grey. Of course, that's going to be a good colour because this looks like it's steel. So it's going to be quite strong, and then I can use this as a highlight. And there's probably lots more to fill in. And as soon as you put that brush to it, it's going to just disappear into colour. Oh, hi Judy, welcome to Buddy's Designs. Everybody else popping in, welcome. Playing in the Colin Thompson colour book with my Neos, and I'm scratching colour so that if you were going anywhere you could scratch the colour and then you could scratch the bit of colour. And all that wants to be wood all across there. Whoopsie. So if you want a strong colour you put more down, but as I say, use with caution. And I have found a small window here. I think I'm going to do that a different brown. I've got a paler brown there. It's a duller one, but it's paler, so I'm going to use all this. And then the brush colour will do everything else for me, because they are so vibrant. You really don't need not a lot. So we'll go back to our number 31, orangish yellow. Can't say that this morning. And we'll just, I don't really need all that, and you can get into your tight spots a bit later. I think that could just do with a so everything's got a bit of colour. I left the jug. I need to do the jug. There's the little jug. I think we'll have a little oh, that looks like a blue and white stripe mug, doesn't it? Yep. I think that would look quite nice. And that's a post. I think that's going to go dark as well. I do like this indigo. It's quite nice. So we've got this indigo colour. Is always good for skies, and if you could keep these little moons, that would look even better. So I have to do a bit of practice with the brush. Again, it would have to be a small brush. I've missed this little section here. Now I do have to put my tissue over there because my hand will smudge all this. I do like that brown. I'm going to use a paler one though, because it looks like it's in a highlight, that one. And I should have enough from that to do that little bolt there. And these are little yellow chickens. So we'll have a look at this next section. There's definitely some brown on the steps. There's some brown on there. I'm not sure what that is. I think it's I don't know if it's a mixer. I think it's a mixer. Yes, it is. It's a mixer. So it would really want to be white, but we'll make it grey. And just a hint of a colour here. And we've got a kind of a mine here, so put that there. And again, that colour will smush round. And we've got our ivory background, but that's going to look a bit odd in this setting, but we might just get a bit of lightness to it. So we need blue jeans for blue jeans, which is number 155. So he's got blue jeans on. And he wants a red shirt, I think. Or does he want a green shirt? No, he could possibly have a bright green shirt. I've got some more green leaves up here, and I didn't leave the green out. I think it was it wasn't Empire green. It wasn't greenish blue. Must have been it's not emerald green. There's no more now. Oh, sorry, am I not? Have I gone off again? I do apologise. The throat's gone a bit croaky. A mouthful of tea might do it better. Cold coffee, rather. Right, I need another fawn colour, so I think we'll have this one. I did say fawn, I meant chocolate. So and so that leads me to do the whole of this tree trunk tree stem now. So, and apologies for getting my words muddled up today. I think the brain's on backwards. It's getting a bit like Hilda Baker. I am getting all my words wrong way around. So we've got one section to do, and then we've nearly all done. I'll just put a bit of brown on that one because it's a slightly different colour. We have a toilet. It's all toilet humour. That's clever. So we've got a shaggy dog. We've got another little kind of bomb going off there. I'm going to do this smoke grey colour. Just put that tissue on there and do this bit here. And again, remember, there's a lot of colour on there, so there's probably enough to do this one. And I'm going to mix these two colours. I'm going to put, and that should make a Payne's grey. That. So where's the wooden one? Is this one? Now the only thing is you can't see what's going on as you're doing it, but it's a way to kind of do it and leave your pens at home safe, because if anything happened to them you'd probably be mortified. So still using a dot of colour. Oops, sorry, moving about quite a lot now. I say apologies for whinging, but hands are really not good at the moment, so and we want our background colour. And there's no reason why, you know, you can, when you're doing this away, you can't think, oh gosh, you know, I need to do this when I get back and put this colour in it. Oops, leaning on a water brush, that's not a good idea. But it's just a really nice, easy way to colour. And again, you know, you can put these colours in your children's colour books, and then they can colour, so you don't have to end up having all your colours, your crayons snapped because your 5-year-old wants to play as well. And there's nothing worse than feeling mean when your children want to play with things, because I know I've been there. Oh, did it? Well, I'm the opposite. I took 2 sleeping pills last night. I normally take 1, and I think I'm in cloud cuckoo land. Did I have to take? Is this Alfie? Let me just bear with me a second. Oh no, there's nothing. Well, I've just found mine. I'd forgotten where I put them. I've just found mine this morning. So I'll be doing Graphitint. I wrote it down, didn't I? I don't think it was this book. I wrote it down a few minutes ago. What I was going to do in Graphitint. I can't remember now. Oh, was it the truck? No, that was Hydrus. There we go. Oh, I've got Grungy for that one. You see, this is why I need to write things down. I just put a note about Graphitint and I don't know where it is. So if anybody was watching earlier, what did I say I was going to do in Graphitint? Because I've forgotten. And I did write down, I wrote it down, but I don't know if I did it in this book. There, Graphitint. So I was going to do this one next, in this method. Right, so if I pan out now, we have a quick look. We had a bright red car, so we could have another bright red car. So you really do not need much more than that for colour. I'm sure I've missed some bits and pieces. I've just found the kettle. But you probably find that again that when you start you've got colour on the brush and you think, oh, what am I going to do with it? Because you don't want to throw it away. And that's the time to look and decide. And think, actually, I kind of like, there'll be some little bits that you have. And that's on there. Oh, I've covered that one in now. It should have been white, but never mind. And I found some more. There's going to be a background that you've missed. And I think we could have a blue van up there. But you will have colour on the end of your brush that you do not want to throw away. And as I say, that's when I did the whole page of trees. So red bricks, just another touch of red brick. Since I'm going to use it with, oh right, I've never done that. The problem I have at the moment is hands don't like pencils, and I'm hoping it's just a winter thing, and by next spring I shall be back. Otherwise I'll be giving a lot more things. Now I'm actually going to turn this because it's easier for me, and then I'm going to just put a little dot in each one. So I'm going to use the Graphitint in the next one. So I possibly have missed quite a few little bits and pieces, but as I say, there will be colour on the end of your brush and you will think, I don't want to waste it, what can I use it on? And you will find something. So I'm going to put the Neos away now, so I'll pan out and you can see what it looks like. Have I missed anything? I missed anybody popping up? Oh, hi Mandy, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? It's a bit bitty again today. Ustream kicked me off, but I think we might be okay now. So what I've done is roughly scratched a bit of colour, really scribbled, but just a tiny amount of colour, like I did with Miss Morphia. And then what you could do now is say, right, okay, I'm going to do the next page. But what you have to do is put a piece of printer paper, and this is a good size book because it's perfect. So you can shut that there, and you know that it doesn't matter what happens to the book. If there's any contamination, it's going to be on the paper. Now this is what the Neos do. So you do end up with bits and pieces because they're soft and they're really, really well pigmented. So you could go through the whole book, and then you could just take, I would take a little tiny brush and this water brush and just this with you, and then you could be on the beach or by the pool, and you just open them up and you just start to colour. And again, you've got to remember that you've got this paper, use it for your hand, because if you start working over here you'll have some smudges. So you've got the paper and you can use it, and you can keep moving it round. And I would work, if you're left-handed, from right to left, and if you're right-handed, from left to right. And as I say, when you're doing something here, you will be picking a lot of colour up. So if you've missed a certain space, you can use that colour. And a baby white would be fine. And what I said about using this brush is, if you haven't got any water with you, you can just kind of wet it and manoeuvre your colour. So you can wet it from this brush and use it in some little tiny spaces. Or you can use your baby wipe, because your baby wipe will be wet because you need to take the colour off, the water off this. And this size brush should be fine for that. So I'll do that in another part, in part 4. So for the moment, that's got all its colour on it that it needs. It just needs a piece of printer paper, cheap paper, or you can use tracing paper. Now I only use tracing paper for the pastel, but the reason I can't finish this off is I can't really scratch with the pastel, so I'm having to wait until my hands are better. But you could do the whole book in any kind of water-based crayon or pencil where you can scratch the colour. So Inktense, because you're scratching the colour and you're not activating it, you're just scratching colour on. Derwent watercolour pencils or Caran d'Ache coloured pencils, whatever coloured pencils water-based you've got. Inktense pencils work good. Anything that's water-based in a crayon or pencil form where you can just scratch a little bit of colour will work for this technique. And as I say, you can fill the whole book, or you can just do a page at a time. I mean, if you were going away for a few weeks, then you'd probably want to fill a whole book if you wanted. You just have to put a piece of paper between each sheet. So that's the end of part 2, I think. Ustream kicked me off earlier, so apologies, but I think that's the end of part 2. Part 3 will be manipulating it with a water brush and a little tiny brush. So thank you for watching.